I know you said Rolex is common. That's partially one that a little part of me wants to say that, despite that I'm wearing one, I think having owned one, if you look at the specs on paper or just what it is, paying a lot of money compared to what you can get from other brands, but it's one of those watches where you just can't find anything to complain about.
Welcome to Due Time Presents The Watchers. I'm your host, Rod Dye, and I'm here with the one, the only, Rio the Watcher. How's it going?
What's going on, big dog?
Oh man, just living, man. Just getting to it, man. Got a lot of things in store, a lot on the table, and we just getting it done, man.
Allocations on the table. What's going on?
Oh man. I didn't say that.
Okay.
Say that. No. But we're gonna speak that. We're gonna put that in the atmosphere. How about that?
Yes, sir.
How about that, man? Well, today we have not only a friend of Due Time, man, but someone that we've connected with, many times in person here locally in Columbus at, watch events, watch meetups. He's one of the trailblazers. He's carved out his own lane in the industry. Nick Lehner, how's it going?
Hey guys, going great.
Yes.
I'm excited. I feel like I've been running into you guys for a long time now. It's like time's gone by, so I'm glad we're able to work this out and join you guys.
Absolutely, man. And we finally got Nick on the show, guys. Like, this is long overdue. We've seen him countless times. Like, hey, we're going to schedule it. And we finally got it. Nick carved out time for us. So thank you, Nick, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. And for the watchers out there, Nick Lehner is the founder of StrapHabit, your go-to place for watch straps and accessories. So we'll definitely get into his stories, a great testimony. But before we do that, we got to see what's on wrist today. Rio, talk to us, man.
This is the 116500 LN Darth Vader Rolex Daytona, oyster steel, if you will.
Yeah. There we go. Nice.
Words, man. I've always wanted to get my hands on this watch, man, and it's like I can see why they call the Daytona the collection killers, man, because everybody that I've helped get a Daytona in the past 6 or 7 weeks told me they haven't really worn a lot of their other watches. And I'm starting to understand why.
Yeah. Well, you actually answered my question about the Daytonas, if it's worth the hype, but you just answered it right there. So
real quick, I'll just tell you this. I remember you told me two things could be true. It can be hype and it could be the truth. I just feel like hype is fleeting, right? I feel like it's been out since 2016 with the ceramic bezel, and it continuously have grown every single year. And appreciation in the market. The market has spoken. It's the truth.
Yes. It can be hype, but the hype could also be warranted as well. So, no, absolutely, man. Well, I got a chronograph as well. I got a new watch alert.
Oh, new watch alert.
Yeah. So I took it back to the brand I started with. So I have a Breitling Chronomat. Yes, nice. A Panda dial, yes. And this actually came on the rubber rouleau bracelet. So I went to Breitling and got the steel rouleau bracelet there. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the hood, we call it the bullet bracelet.
Yeah. The bullet bracelet, yeah. Definitely, man. And it's nice, man. I've actually had this for almost 2 weeks now. And, it's the watch I've pretty much worn daily, since then. I love it, man. So like I said, it's back to the brand I started with. And I always say I feel like I'm carrying the flag for Breitling, but goes back to our number one point. Buy what you like. So
wear what you love.
Buy what you love. Exactly. Buy what you like, wear what you love. Nick, what's on wrist?
Well, I know you guys are both pretty into Rolex, and you're usually wearing some pretty nice stuff when I see you guys. So I wore my 126610 LV tonight.
Ooh,
and then being that we're a bunch of guys from Columbus, it's on a Pelotonia strap. because
Oh,
the
that's
opening
nice.
ceremony was last weekend. So
Nice,
Talk to me
nice,
about that
nice.
watch. Well, can we get a little
Yes,
backstory on your journey of getting that watch?
yes, yes.
yeah. Actually, it was kind of a cool story. So last year, kind of when StrapHabit will hit like a certain new sales milestone, I'll use that as an excuse for myself to buy a watch. And last year I hit another milestone, and I was kind of thinking about what watch to buy. And then, as you guys probably know, I ended up leaving my job last year to start doing StrapHabit full time. And I said, ever in my life, I'm going to buy a Rolex. This is probably the reason to make myself do it. So I started looking around locally, and I already knew, kind of the situation. But as you can imagine, I didn't have very much luck at any ADs. And I had posted in a group chat of some of the local watch guys. And I said, I kind of asked the question of, do you have any tips of like who to talk to, how to try to get a Starbucks? And like a week, I said, oh, my friend is looking for this. I didn't really like announce what I was trying to do. And about a week later, one of the guys in the group chat messaged me and goes, "Hey, is your friend still looking for a Starbucks?" And I knew this guy had one. And I said, actually, it's for me, and I'm looking for it, but I know what you could probably get for it, and I'm not really like looking to pay that much for it. I just kind of wanted to try to get one at retail, and then he actually offered it to me for what he paid for it new. So I was just he just wanted to sell it to a local friend, I think, and have a smooth sale. So I met him right away and ended up picking it up. So it kind of it was one of those situations where now I have to buy it. So. And yeah, I hadn't worn it in a couple of weeks just because had so many watches coming in and out, and I put it on a couple of days ago and haven't been able to take it off for a little while. So yeah,
that's awesome. Shout out to your friend, man.
He made it so easy. You had to buy it.
You had to buy it.
You had to buy it, man. Now, that's great. One of the things I found about just like the watch community in general, like we love seeing others win and get the pieces that they covet and that they want. And there's so many connectors such as Rio, such as yourself, in this space. And it's great. It's great to see, man. I know you said,
and yourself,
and myself. Yes. I love seeing people win. Yes. I was giving you guys kudos, but I'll pat myself on the back. I do look at myself as a connector as well. I know you mentioned that the strap was a Pelotonia strap. Is that a cause that's that charity a cause that's near and dear to you?
Yeah, it is. I've done a number of different cancer charity straps since starting StrapHabit. A lot of people are probably familiar with the Men Wear Pink straps that I've done every year to raise money for breast cancer. And, I had people who contacted me and said, I'm looking at, I'm kind of, maybe a different type of cancer is important to them, or they didn't want to wear a pink watch strap or something like that. And this year, Pelotonia added a mountain biking event, which I'm really into mountain biking. And I felt like, okay, if I'm ever going to do it, like this is the time to do it. So, the obvious answer of how to raise money for that was to do a watch strap. So I contacted Pelotonia and got their approval to use their logos and stuff, sent them the design. And I worked with a designer called Teenage Grandpa, who has designed other charity straps we've done. And he's also a watch designer. So he came up with this really cool graphic for me. So these I'm selling for $35, and the entire $35 I'm going to donate to my Pelotonia campaign before October when I do the ride.
Oh, that's fire, man. Let's go. You ready? Are you ready? Like, are you ready?
Yeah, I've been trying to get more in shape and ride when I have time. And, there's a team of a couple dads and coaches from my son's mountain bike team that kind of put a group together. So we're trying to put like a pre-ride together so we can at least see what we're in for, because it's 24 miles. So, I'll finish it though.
I want to ask, since we're right here, because, I know you started off as a collector first, but I want to, since we're already right here just talking about the business, 2019.
Yeah.
Started the company, right? What happened in 2019 to say, I'm going to jump off the porch and start my own business?
There's not really that like exciting of a story of it. But I've always kind of had interest in having other like incomes or just trying to explore other things. Like I was looking into real estate for a while and was interested in that. And I had a couple friends who had started some different e-commerce businesses, and they were sharing with me like how exciting and interesting it was. And, you know, a friend of mine kind of talked to me about some ideas. So I thought, you know, I just wanted to start a business and just try it and see what would happen. So I got the advice from people and also just thought to myself, it should be something that I'm interested in as a hobby or something I'm excited about, because like, number one, I'll be more motivated to want to keep working on it. And number two is I wanted it to be something I'm knowledgeable about and authentic and can kind of know what I'm doing a little bit. So, and I had some bit of photography skills and a bit of writing skills. I'm not expert at any of that stuff, but I think I had maybe some of the things just to get started. And so I just started small and just started growing the business from there. And, you know, that long after I started it, you know, COVID came around and everyone was in their houses and, you know, weren't going out on the weekends and at night. So I was able to kind of focus on getting it off the ground and running. And yeah, grew it to the point that last year I ended up doing it full time now. So
Let's been about that. Let's talk about that's fire. That's fire.
I still can't believe it. Even now, it's like hard to believe. It's been about 9 months or so, but you know, just the fact that I was able to do that, I didn't consider myself or think of myself as a business person. So it's definitely been exciting and very fulfilling.
So Nick, listen, because Rod's going to ask you some amazing questions about your collection and what got you started. I want to hear all about it. And Rod is really good at that. I love the business point of it, but I want you to do something for me. And I don't think anybody has ever done with you. Have you ever been on a podcast before?
I've been on a couple, yeah.
Right, yeah. So I need you to sell me a strap. And the reason why I'm asking you to do this, because I don't think I'm the Wolf of Wall Street per se. I love watches. I've never bought a watch strap in my life.
Wow. Okay.
I've never bought one. I've never thought about it. Even when I was a kid, when kids would get different like wheels for their bikes or different like mags and spokes and all these different stuff. Even with cars, I didn't get different wheels. I bought it the way it came from the factory, because if I bought it, that means I loved it the way it was. Now, seeing that that's the kind of person I am, and this is your company, tell me why I should buy a watch strap. Go.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd say the one kind of main thing is to tailor it exactly to your look or personality, I guess. So, as awesome as that Daytona is, and it's got a beautiful bracelet on it, and Rolex has some of the best bracelets in the business. You know, you could walk down the street and see another guy that has exactly that on it. You're probably not going to see one on a Pelotonia strap. You know, what I do a lot, which is where the name of the company came from, is like I'll swap it out depending on what I'm wearing, even, or, you know, if I'm going to a place that's want to look nicer, I'll put something a little more classy looking. Or if I'm going to like, you know, my son's basketball game or the grocery store or whatever, I'll have something bright and crazy on there and interesting. You know, it kind of strikes up conversation with people. And then there's the comfort aspect as well. So a lot of watches, the strap that it comes with maybe isn't comfortable, or, you know, like the material. You could save wear and tear on if it came with like an expensive leather strap, you can save wear and tear on it that way. You know, there's a lot of reasons, but to me, it kind of originally boiled down to just getting the exact look that I want on the watch. And maybe opposite of you, I would want some color or want it to match the dial or have a certain look to it that it didn't always come with. And I've actually, now that I've started having booths and attending some of these watch shows that I've been going to, I've actually gotten to see that in real life, where I'll see a customer come talk to me, check out a strap, go to a booth of a watch brand and buy a watch from them with the intention of, I'm going to come back and get this strap and put it on it and make my perfect combo, which is interesting to actually witness in person.
Yeah. Like you're watching it in real time, what you envision what people would do.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Maybe I'll get one. I will.
No, I see your background. So how many different SKUs do you have?
It's over 1,000. I don't know the exact number, but these racks are going in both directions right now. Yeah.
I imagine like all textures and fabrics and
Yeah. Well, if you think about just mathematically, even like one line of strap, if it comes in 4 or 5 colors and 4 or 5 sizes, you multiply that out times a bunch of lines, it can add up really quickly.
That's incredible. What's your number one strap?
Probably the deploying sailcloth, I think, do really well. And I sell a lot of rubber straps as well. I mean, typically black is the best seller of anything, but I like having a variety. And I found once a company got to the point that I had a lot of choices, I would start to get annoyed if I would buy a new watch and I couldn't find a strap on my shelves that I wanted to put on it. Or it would almost make me like, oh, I don't want to buy this watch because it's 21 millimeter or something like that. So I almost started adding things to the catalog just for myself to want to have, which is kind of maybe not a good business sense way to do it or something like that. But I feel like I hope I'm helping out the other people who can't find that stuff elsewhere as well.
I have a question for you. So there are a plethora of watch strap companies. I get ads for them all the time. Like there's like 100. You can get them on Amazon. Why do you think? So what is it about StrapHabit that allowed for you and your company to break through in a crowded market?
Yeah, I think what I kind of feel like is authenticity is part of it. I think people can tell that I'm part of the community. I'm a watch collector. There's a blog on the site that 99% of the articles are all written by me. I think there's a lot of like large faceless brands or brands that aren't so much involved or supporting the community. And then, there's brands that are small where guys are like hand making watch straps or doing small batches and stuff. I'm kind of in the middle of that. And I think, I've partnered with a lot of other watch brands and watch content creators and stuff and tried to kind of mutually support the community that way. We talked about the charitable stuff as well. So like StrapHabit's donated over $75,000 to the American Cancer Society. There's a veterans group that I worked with and raised about $15,000 for those guys and a couple other, cancer charities and things like that. So, I've tried to use the company to do good things as well. And kind of like, I worked for Honda for a number of years, and Honda had this philosophy of we want to be the company that society wants to exist. And I feel like I learned a lot from that as well. Just, just trying to put myself in the customer's mind or act that way of like, what would you want a company to do?
I love that, man. So first of all, we're not going to glaze over the $75,000, especially for, a small independent business to give out that much money. You mentioned, Men Wear Pink, and I know the collaboration with Islander. That was a hot collaboration. Talk a little bit more about that, but also would you consider like starting your own independent watch brand as well?
Okay. I guess first question about the Islander thing. So the straps started a few years before that. So I had testicular cancer a number of years ago, and I had done some Movember charities. And at the same time, there's an account called Brodinky that was doing the Men Wear Pink charity. And we kind of became friendly and supported each other. And after I saw like what we were both doing, I reached out to him. Hey, could we sell some straps? And to your point about the money donated, from the start, I promised to donate the entire purchase price, not realizing how many we're going to sell. But because I said I was going to do that, we went along with it and ended up, selling a ton of straps. And, luckily people buy other things or it kind of spreads awareness of the brand. And I wanted to have some skin in the game, I guess, to support that. So I was always every year trying to think about like, how can we do something better with this or something more with this? And, I feel like I'm pretty good friends with Mark from Long Island Watch. I've met him at a number of shows, and he's just been a great dude to talk to. He's helped me with my business and giving me advice and things like that. He was an engineer that left his job to do this full time. So I think he could see a little bit of himself in me, I guess. And So last year he made a YouTube video about how he wanted to work with other collaborators and influencers and develop special small batches of watches for people like that and pay them a portion of the proceeds for helping him to promote it. So I reached out to Mark and said, I'm not an influencer. I don't have like a huge following, but I want to do that with you, but donate the 10% or whatever to American Cancer Society if we could do a watch. And he liked the cause so much that he said, we're going to donate the entire price of the watch. And so we did 200 watches. So Mark donated over $60,000 last year. And that's not including the 75 that I mentioned. That's on top of that. So yeah, so we did a batch of 200 watches, pre-order, about 100 sold out during the pre-order. And then the remaining 100 to bring us to 200 sold out, I want to say in like a day or so. I don't remember the exact time, but they sold out really quickly. So that was a really, and the watch came out awesome. So it was just a really good activity, I feel like.
That was a victory for you guys. Would you be willing to start a watch brand yourself at microbrand? Have you considered it?
I like the idea of that. I think it would be really fun. Number one, I'm so busy with StrapHabit. I would have to somehow scale that back or stop doing it or get a bunch of employees or something for me to have a second thing that I could focus on. The other thing, at least at the moment right now, I don't have a concept of what the brand would be or an idea. I wouldn't want to start a watch brand that was just something that wasn't interesting. So it is kind of like a dream of mine or something that would be interesting if I ever, for some reason, stopped doing StrapHabit, but it's not something I'm aspiring to right now. And I've been a little bit getting that creative outlet from, I did that collaboration with Mark, and then I have a couple other watch and strap collaborations coming up as well that hopefully people will see this year. So I get a little bit of that feeling of that from doing those activities.
Of course, you love all watch straps because you sell them, right? But are there certain like looks on, watches that you really don't like? Obviously, you sell them because you have to, meet, the customer's needs. But is there like a certain, dial watch strap combination or a certain type of strap that you really just don't care for, whether you sell it or not?
That's a good question. I never thought. I'm always trying to think about what good combos can I make. I haven't thought about that yet. I'm going to say one that's maybe controversial is the classic Bond strap. I don't like the colors. So I like the watch with the stripes down the middle. And actually I did a strap that just came out this month with the Bond experience. And it is that Bond pattern, but it's cooler colors. It's orange and blue and red. And I think it looks awesome. But the regular like Bond colors, for some reason that is never something I've wanted to wear, I guess. And I don't begrudge anyone who's wearing that, but that's maybe one thing I would say.
I appreciate your honesty.
That's interesting. I know
I get plenty of, I have a lot of bright colors and crazy looking straps. So I definitely get a handful of people on social media telling me how ugly those combos are too. So, maybe I don't have the best taste or at least jive with everybody else. So yeah.
Each their own.
But there's someone out there that's going to love it. And the reason I asked that is I know Rio and myself, we talk offline. But obviously we see, thousands of watches just like you. And, like sometimes I'm like, it's okay. Not a fan of that strap. So no, just wondering. But one thing I'll say though is that I know we've just from like seeing you at the watch meetups, one thing I respect too, obviously, like I wouldn't take the brand serious. If you came in with like an OEM strap, like I expect to see you with your own product. But I've seen some of your products, and there's one strap. It's actually a black rubber strap, and I want to say it's the strap that was on the I think Zach had it on the 1776 watch. It's like I don't know what type of strap that is, but I love that one, and that's one that actually I'll reach out to you offline to discuss. But yeah, no, that's that's definitely something that like I said, we talk about, because I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm gonna stop beating around the bush about it. I know personally, like maybe it's because I'm not like big into like field watches, but like I don't know. It's like the NATO strap, like, and it's so popular. And it's just one that I'm just like, I just haven't seen one that I like yet. Like I've seen a bunch of them, but it's just that's the reason I asked you that question.
I don't even think it's
for me,
about that. I think it's like you probably just don't like the strap. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if it was like the color change or anything. It's probably just the wearability of it for you. Because I did have like a Bulova Lunar Pilot. And it came on like a NATO strap. It just didn't resonate with me.
Oh, it's the strap itself. It's not even the design. It's not the pattern. It's just like the fact. I don't like the.
I do like it.
Like some people don't like how it sits under the watch and kind of raises up the watch off your wrist. I mean that's something I hear from people.
Yeah, that's probably, like I said, it's probably the wearability. I know a lot of guys really like the Desert Warrior, not the Desert Warrior, the Desert Warrior with the sprinkles. I know a lot of guys who got that strap, and they've been posting it online. I'm like, I've seen that before. I know who got that.
That's one of the ones I was referring to. Every time that gets posted, someone will tell me, like I had it on a Pelagos the other day, and someone's like, how could you put that on a Tudor? You're disrespecting Tudor with that. Like, you can swap it out. I still have the original one too, you know?
And I bought this watch. It's mine.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's one thing I do respect, like people that'll take the bracelet, the original bracelet off, and like I said, it's yours. However you want to style it, it's your watch. I seen someone get allocated and explore, and he put a NATO strap on there right away, and it's like, that's your thing. And we talked about that offline. That's the great thing about the watch community. It's like you can do what work for you. Yeah. And so
there's a guy from North Carolina I've met at a handful of shows I've gone to, and I have this strap. I call it the IME camo. It stands for It Matches Everything. It's this crazy like bunch of neon colors, like digital camo pattern, and he wears it on a Patek. So like, you know, I think it looks cool. Every time you post it, I get excited to see that. So, you know,
you got to.
There's no rules.
You got to ask me to feature it on the website.
Yeah, so I got to see that.
Let's take a couple of steps back. How did you get into watches? Where did you get the bug? What's the watch that gave you the bug? Because now I want to talk to you as a collector now. Like,
yeah. I mean, kind of just as a background on myself, like I mentioned, you know, I was an engineer. I have been into cars and bicycles and mechanical stuff for a really long time. And I think I had that kind of like collector specification mechanical thing in my brain. And I always wore watches throughout, you know, high school and college and stuff like that. I always tell this story. If anyone's heard it, I'm sorry. But like I did an internship in Germany in college, and I had some cheap department store watch that had a digital and an analog display on it. And I figured out you could set them separately so I could like have my home time on there, never knowing what a GMT was. And I was like so excited that I figured out how to do that. And I think that was maybe part of my story. And then, you know, when I graduated school, I bought myself a Nixon watch as like my first kind of gift of getting my first job, I guess. And when we got to the age that my friends and were starting to get married, and their wives their fiance started buying them like a watch as the wedding gift, you know, and then who's my wife now, she was like, oh, if we ever get married, like I would be interested in buying you a watch. And being an engineer, like I was like, well, I don't want to get a bad one if I help her pick it out. Like I got to know like what the good ones are now. And I started going on the forums and researching. And then when I was shopping for a ring for her, I always like walk in and kind of wander over to the watch part of the store before I would go and look, you know, and, you know, started learning that way. And so from there, you know, looking at forums and things like that, I discovered that you could buy these Seiko automatics that were at the time really inexpensive and get an automatic with the sweeping secondhand. And so I started flipping watches, just trying to basically break even or make a little bit of money and grow my collection and kind of learning that way. And every so often I would get to where I had like 5 or 10 watches, and I'd sell all of them and then buy one nicer piece. And I kind of built up the collection that way. But back to like the wife part of the story, when we were after we got engaged, before we got married, she bought me a Planet Ocean chronograph from Alexander's in Short North. And then at our wedding, she got a little groom's cake, which was like the red Omega box with the watch in it, which was pretty cool. So,
and then, the cake?
Yeah, not the main wedding cake, but like a groom's cake on the side. Which was pretty awesome. It was like the red fondant. And then obviously I couldn't afford 4 Planet Ocean, so I got 4 black Orients for my groomsmen, which at least they had kind of the same look on as me, even if it wasn't actually Omega. So
that's good enough.
That's great.
Yeah. So then it basically just got out of control from there, and now my hobby and my business are intertwined and mixed together, and I can buy watches and say it's for content and excuse it to myself that way, I guess. And it's all corrupted now. So
absolutely. So we already seen what's on wrist. What are some other pieces you have in the collection?
Okay. Yeah. I mentioned the Planet Ocean. One of my favorite watches, which was one of the ones where I did a big consolidation. And this was, when we found out we were having my son, I bought a vintage Heuer Autavia. So that's a really special watch in my collection.
Love the vintage Heuers.
Yeah, that one gets a lot of attention at the meetups that we go to too. Everybody likes to see that one.
Shout out to 614 watch enthusiasts, man. That's definitely
shout out to 614.
Yeah. So I have that. One of the watches I bought as a milestone for StrapHabit a couple years ago is a big pilot Top Gun. So I was wearing that a lot. I have my other vintage watch is a Porsche design chronograph. I was searching for probably 3 years, I would say, to find that watch. It's from, I want to say like late 70s. It's one of the chronograph ones, the all black PVD. And yeah, what I found was they're not that rare of a watch, but there's many of them that are trashed. The coating's all flaking off and stuff, or they have the wrong hands. They're pretty messed up. And then if you find a nice one, they were generally like outside of my budget. And I just kept searching and looking for a while. And I ended up buying this from a guy on Reddit whose dad was the original owner of it and was able to get that watch. So that's another probably more rare or collectible one I would say that I have.
I think like Ben Clymer from Hodinkee loves that watch. And I think a lot of people hopped on the bandwagon a few years back too. It got a little hotter like 4 or 5 years ago because he was talking about, that's one of the watches that he coveted as well. And I just think people just started looking for it again. It's just crazy how like waves happen in this hobby. Like somebody said, "Oh yeah, it's nice. It's been nice," but
yeah. I think to your point, every so many years, Porsche will remake that watch and make another version of it, and that probably renews some interest or keeps it in the forefront of people's mind as well as looking for the vintage ones.
I feel like you had a Ming.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
You have a
I didn't want to go through the whole list, I guess, but yeah, I have a Ming.
So you have a Bill Carrington.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that one specifically. I was waiting because you put it on one of your
missing
watches.
A couple. He's being modest.
A couple. There's a Ming missing there, and I think you put it like on white straps.
Right. Actually, today now it's on a red sailcloth, but yes, it's called a 3707. It's the Mosaic. I believe it was for the 5th anniversary of Ming, but it has a sapphire plate over the dial with printing on the front and back, and then it's an all loom dial, so it has this kind of 3-dimensional pattern to it. That's a cool one too.
When I see it every single time.
Yeah.
What?
It's fire.
Tell me about like your connection to that watch. Like what made you say I want to go with this micro brand? Because a lot of the companies that you named was more heritage brands. So I wanted to know like more about that particular watch. What made you want to go down that avenue?
Yeah. I honestly just thought it was cool. There's not a deep story. I felt like it looks really cool. I didn't have a kind of thinner manual wind watch. And it just was one of those things where I just kept seeing Mings and thinking they were cool. And I was trying to decide which model of Ming I was interested in. I wanted something a little less common or special dial, but I didn't want it to be super expensive. And the cool thing about that watch is I feel like it has a lot of sort of presence or watch lover. I mean, you guys just asked me about it, right? Or when I bring it to the watch shows, people always check that watch out. And I got it used and it was like, I want to say 2,500 or so. So it wasn't, in terms of watches, that's a lot of money, but in terms of watches, it has a lot of presence and credibility for I guess how expensive it was. And it's just one of those watches, like I don't end up wearing it a ton, but when I put it on, I'm just like, oh man, that thing is cool. It's like, especially if I'm going out to like a nice dinner or something like that, it's a nice one to throw on.
Now, since we're talking about Ming and I'm talking to the owner of StrapHabit, what do you think about the bracelet that they created? It's like, was it like the 3D print?
Yeah.
The mesh one?
Mesh bracelet that they created?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have one. I probably, I probably wouldn't, for my strange situation, I probably wouldn't wear it a ton. But if I was maybe like a regular Ming owner that didn't own a watch strap company, that bracelet looks pretty awesome. And I'm sure I'd want to have that because it does look pretty cool.
Okay. I just want to know what your thoughts were on it.
No, it's fire. It's fire. What's one? Now we talked about the pieces that you do have, and you did, I know you have a Bel Canto as well, but we don't have to dive into that. What's your next watch? What's the ultimate watch for you? Not even the next watch. Like, what's the ultimate watch for you? Like, before it's all said and done, before I close the box, the watch box, not like
yeah. That's a good question. That's a good question.
The watch box. Before we close the watch box.
Some ultimate watch. Yeah. That's a good. I mean, ultimate, like unlimited budget.
Yeah.
I'm really into the Lange Zeitwerk, the one with the digital display on it.
As you should be.
Yeah.
As you should be.
I don't see myself ever getting one of those, but that's probably if you're talking about like win the lottery type stuff.
Never say never, my friend.
Never say never.
This is a business investment piece that you.
That's a good point.
Some R&D for straps for that independent brand. You can make it make sense.
There's certain watches where Rio and I talk about, like, man, for this one, like, I might sell everything and consolidate into one. And like,
yeah.
I think our good friend Ted has that watch. That's the first time I saw one.
I've seen that on him. Yeah, that was the one that I saw. Like, whoa, like, yeah.
I've recently visited the Lange store in Chicago, and I must say that it's probably been one of my best experiences at a boutique. It's only been open for like about 6 or 7 months or so, maybe 6 or 7 months, but the guy was formerly a Bucher employee for 7-8 years, and he saw that it was getting built, applied for it. And in that time period, man, he tells you the entire story. They make you feel welcome. They make you feel like a part of the, like the family already, and you haven't even committed to even buying a watch. Yeah, Lange is very special. I like the Lange one for sure. Like at pink gold. I'm a huge fan of the company.
For sure. So we talked about the ultimate watch. So obviously you're immersed in the culture. You see what's going on online, and I'm sure you see the discourse and you engage with people. What's a brand that you would say like, it's kind of overrated to me? Like, what's an overrated brand for you? Like,
now, this is not speaking as an owner. This is speaking as a collector. So it's a different thing.
Yeah. Like for your taste, and because we all have our own distinct, we have our own styles and everything. What's the most overrated?
Yeah, I had trouble thinking about something for one of that. Partially, I know you said Rolex is common, and that's partially one that a little part of me wants to say that, despite that I'm wearing one, I think having owned one, if you look at the specs on paper or just what it is, you're paying a lot of money compared to what you can get from other brands, but it's one of those watches where you just can't find anything to complain about. So, I think what I'm going to say is more of like a general term of I think, and I find myself guilty of this too, like limited edition watches are things that you can't get. I think it's a common behavior of people to maybe want to buy something that they're not even that interested in, or that they don't really want this watch that's limited just because everyone else wants it and you can't get it. And so now it creates this hype that kind of builds up without people thinking about, oh, is this really what I want? Is this my taste? Or am I, buying this just because I'm getting something that no one else can get? And that kind of behavior makes it hard for the people who want that thing to wear it to get one, I guess. So I'd say kind of just a general comment of, things that are rare or limited or small release drops from small brands or something like that, is maybe content to like make things get overrated or overhyped that way.
That's a very great political
but I
answer.
accept it was
but that answer the question, but it's a great answer. And you're right, like because like you said, like we said at the when Rio spoke earlier, like multiple things can be true, and like like some brands are just like it's just like overhyped, and people just like overdo it. And it's like there are other great brands out there, and yes, the pieces that are hyped, they're hyped for good reason. But there are other models within those portfolios that are still nice, but people can't think for themselves, right? And they just like take the easy way out. I tend to like, let's say when people, obviously we all like Rolex here, but when I see people with, expensive pieces or just pieces from like other brands that are not Rolex, and I want to know like, okay, why'd you choose that? Like, that's more interesting to me. And I seen a creator that he had mentioned this, and at first I was kind of like taken back by it, but I get his point when he said like, he had said if I see someone with a date just like, I just feel like, okay, maybe they're not a watch guy, but I feel like you can kind of just say that about like Rolex as a whole, because the name is so strong. Like that doesn't mean that they're into watches just because they got a Rolex. Like they may just know Rolex, but if I see someone with a Lange, like that's intentional. If I see someone with a Ming, that's intentional. Like, that's just not something that you're going to see like, every day. Like, what's your story behind that? So I'm with you.
Yeah. Like to your point. Yeah. If I'm on an airplane sitting next to a guy wearing a sub, I'm probably not going to ask him about it just because he probably doesn't want me to talk to him about his watch. I'm guessing it's just going to be awkward. But if a guy's sitting next to me wearing a Ming, I'm going to tell him nice watch and probably have a good conversation with him. And I think, to the point of the overhyping thing, people blame the seller a lot of the times, but that's the market. That's how it works, right? It's more sort of those people who are willing to pay just because they got to have the hot thing that are setting what the price is.
Yeah, somebody told me that the brand actually belongs to the creators when they are on the journey, and once you release it, the brand belongs to the people. It belongs to the consumer, because they kind of tell you, hey, you might have been thinking you were going to make a bunch of sailcloth. They might have been totally into the rubber, and then now you have to lean into, what the people are loving. Not to say that you can't do everything, but Rolex started as a tool watch company. You know what I mean? They leaned in trying to work with the people who did manual labor work, and then the people took that and embraced that. And they said, this is a luxury watch brand that also offered two professional watches. And they said, you're right. That's what we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you lean into, what the market presents. If you could change, let me ask you something. Because you're on both sides. Like I've been doing content creation, collecting. I'm into dealing watches now. So I'm seeing things on a lot of different sides, right? As far as like different levels of this industry. What are something that, of this industry that are like pet peeves of yours? Like, are little common sayings that people think, or common beliefs that people think? It doesn't have to be, but just in the hobby. If you could give people advice, to stay away from these pet peeves, or like these are myths that people say that's not true? Like,
I don't know. I'm not sure I can think of anything off the top of my head, I guess.
well, what's some watch advice that you would give to a new collector?
I'd say, yeah, buy what you like. When you're first starting out, if you try to buy things at a price point that you can not try to make money off every single one of them, but buy things right where I'm getting something that's within my budget. I can, if I don't like it, I can sell it and not lose a ton of money and try something else and just try a lot of watches. That's really the only way to figure out what you like. And don't be afraid of trying something like, oh, everybody tells me I got to wear a 40 millimeter. You try some bigger ones, try some smaller ones. I've gotten into, if I'm buying a new like big watch, meaning expensive to me, I'm trying to add things that are maybe from a brand or a material or a movement that I've not had before. So when I got that Top Gun, I've never had a ceramic watch. I wanted to try that out. The Porsche design watch has a Lemania movement. I've never had a watch with that movement. I think just trying to experience different things, and that's a fun way to enjoy the hobby. And to myself, like to the point of the Ming or the Belcanto, like I like to have some watches that I might see another watch guy and, I've never seen one of those in person before. Like, let me check that out. Like it's fun to have stuff like that, I think.
So we're at the point of the show where we like to ask, is there anything that you would like to ask Rio and I?
So how did you guys meet and start the podcast? I never asked you guys that question. Were you guys friends? You guys were work friends before, right?
Even before that.
Okay.
Even before that. Go ahead, tell your version, Rio. How do we get here?
Oh, I mean, he's an enabler. He's an enabler. He's a bad influence. I'm not about to lie to the people. The people who've been here, they know. The people who are just now getting here,
yeah.
He's an enabler. He's a bad influence. We were talking about cars and stuff, and then one day he called me and said, "Hey, bro, what you know about watches?" And I'm just like, nothing. But I didn't like the feeling of not knowing anything about watches. So we kept on sending each other stuff back and forth. I started watching stuff on YouTube. He started watching stuff. So I'm watching a combination of Hodinkee, Teddy Baldassar, Gray Market, and watch flips in New York at 47th Street. So I'm watching a bunch of different stuff all at the same time. And we sending each other stuff. And next thing you know, we're on the phone talking about watches for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour and a half. We just like, man, we need to record these conversations because we keep teaching each other stuff, right? We, even to this day, we might have a little bit of experience, but we are still learning in real time. This podcast is for people, like when we're learning stuff, we're sharing it with the community, and then they give us the feedback and we share it with everybody else. And we keep doing that as a cycle as everybody's like learning and sharing this knowledge together. And that's how we created the podcast. But he's an enabler, and he's a bad like influence on people's wallets.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you to buy the watch.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to tell you to buy it. Like, I'm going to tell you to buy it. Like, I love when people reach out asking, for suggestions, or even more so, I love when people would say like, hey, I know everyone gets Rolex. What's a nice watch besides Rolex? And I send them a list of like 10. But it's like, I love that part of it. But yeah, I'm going to tell you to get the watch for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love to spend other people's money that way.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We know you got the mountain bike Peloton event coming up. What else is up next for StrapHabit? Where can people find you? Where can they not only just purchase a awesome strap, they can also donate to amazing causes. Let them know, Nick.
Yeah. I mean, so the Pelotonia straps are available on the site right now. I also have a strap for the Ride to Conquer Cancer, and then the Men Wear Pink straps will come out closer to Breast Cancer Month if people are interested in any of those kind of things. And then beyond that, about what's new, I'd say every couple of weeks I'm dropping some new strap, either new color, new model. It's like I'm having trouble like keeping up with it and keeping the email flow going. I'm trying not to like send out too many emails to people that way. But I've just, since I've taken this thing full time, I just like coming out with cool stuff, and I'm just trying to keep doing that and working with other brands. So the probably best way to kind of keep in touch of the news of the shop and what's going on is through the email newsletter. I try to have it be interesting content and not just trying to always just be selling stuff. So sometimes it's new product release, sometimes it's a sale. If I'll share probably that I was on this podcast and let people see that. If there's a cool YouTube video that has StrapHabit in it, I'll share it. And then once a week we try to send out a blog email, which is just a review of a watch and not any content about straps really or anything like that. The other place is I'm most active on Instagram, strap_habit. And StrapHabit's on pretty much all the other social media as well. So I'd say those are the best ways. And then, or if you're from Columbus, come to a 614 watch event and you'll probably see me there. And, I'll be at Wind Up New York. I'll be at probably Intersect in Austin. I've been doing, maybe some Intersect shows next year too. So, those are some ways.
Fire.
Great.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining the show. Definitely appreciate
thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. It's great to have an enthusiast, collector, and entrepreneur on the show. You live in the best of both worlds, my friend, and you got a hell of a wife to allow you to do so. So salute to
I probably should have given her a shout out. Yeah, I should have given her a shout out earlier, but she was extremely supportive, and I mean, I struggled with that decision for a long time, and she heard me complaining about it and worrying about it for a really long time, and she didn't have any doubt and trusted me. So and she helped me come up with the name of the company as well, so that definitely helped a lot. So
shout out to her. What's her name?
Anna Maria.
Shout out to Anna Maria for creating StrapHabit and putting a battery in Nick's back. For sure. Well, once again, thank you so much for coming to the show, man. We definitely appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. I'm Rio the Watcher.
Rod Die for Nick and StrapHabit. We're out. Till next time.
Thanks, guys.